On May 14, 2015, the federal government made the move and placed me in custody, indicted for the gun range incident. While in custody, I received a correspondence from Darnell Simmons, aka Squeaky, that the federal government came to see him at the Stateville Correctional Center, and they relayed to him that they were actively investigating me and trying to tie me in for the RICO, and offering him a time cut off his 53 years, contingent to his cooperation, and a statement that I had something to do with the murder of Cato, which he told him to get the fuck on, and sent me the heads up. So in 2017, around the time I was about to take my plea, they came out with the Chicago PD TV series, Season 4, Episode 20, that was using a fictional character named Labar Spann to play the part as me. Then thereafter, I took my plea for a felony in possession of a firearm by a felon in May. Then, in September of 2017, they indicted me for RICO and charged me with 9 counts of murder. Unrealistically, 8 of the 9 murders were linked to me by unorthodox means of Sammy Booker. He was lying, loading statements and testimony geared by an informant desperately motivated and promised judicial pampering to concoct affidavits, hard-pressed to fan farce evidence to secure a conviction, contingent to his 10-page statement and testimony. Sammy Booker stated that 3 murders were committed by him personally at my command, and out of the 3 said murders, Carlos Caldwell, Maximilian McDaniels, and Lavar Smith, ironically, notwithstanding, out of these 3 said murders, contiguous to Sammy Booker's affidavit, a jury of 12 only convicted me of 1, Maximilian McDaniels, uniformly. So this gist of information pokes serious holes in Sammy Booker's allegations, evidence that puts excessive perjury details, ingredients to substantiate that the words and testimony holds water. At this point in my due process, opinionated as where one would have as far as prosecution, attorneys, and federal judge should have waved a gigantic legal stop sign in the administrative air with a large gist of educated thought that Sammy Booker's affidavits should cease and desist and be put through an electrical shredder. In August 2012, Sammy Booker laid claim that he also witnessed 2 more murders and 1 attempted murder of these 3 teenagers, and that I called the shots to facilitate these incidents. To cover up perjury testimony, the federal government dropped these counts. As to lay fact, Google Keith Chapman to see the full report. Detailing accurate accounts of being my freedom was restricted via house arrest. Also, Sammy Booker lied about the murder of George King, allegedly said he witnessed his murder, secondary by my command, as alleged again, making the weak affirmations about the Vicar murder of Willie Woods, that undeniably, constitutionally, is connected to a life sentence, no gray area, for which, without precedent, getting once again affording fruitless information that he miraculously witnessed another murder, again by my command, of Gus Johnson, as contingent to the double jeopardy murder, which they charged as a Vicar murder, also Cato, which they had Martise Nunnery, John Coleman, aka Marcus Ware, aka Black, who had all testified at my first trial that he didn't know me, being that his audio confession, to which he stated that he didn't know me, but stated claim that he heard me say that Martise Nunnery didn't pay me all my money for the hit on Cato, which was a total farce accusation. Darren McCline, whom testified for an unknowingly reason, saying that he was with Marcus Ware, aka Black, when he made the call to Martise Nunnery to presumably let him know that Cato was at a car wash. The moral of my story is Sammy Booker is an individual that the federal government, regardless of fact or fiction, he was eager and more than willing to sour his name and make outlandish secondary accounts attesting to testimony for which his act was never involved in or saw. Being that the best wingman for agents is a bitch's willingness to save his own by all means necessary. Nothing off the table for a of this caliber. Perjury testimony, lies. Unfortunately, I've become a product of this federal and judicial dysfunction. Currently, I'm a true breathing account of a broken system, a system that's total reliance is to keep the penal system clogged and full. Evidence is no longer the factor. This system's sole mission is incarceration, 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 and convictions at all cost. A system that cares more about employees and the future of its employees than its detainees. I've become gross domestic product by the hands of uneducated informant. Lying testimony and perjury is judicial pay dirt. Without this liar and his 10 pages of lies, it was back to the chalkboard for these little detectives. No case. All the other witnesses were character witnesses. So what I'm asking is, if you support the movement, hashtag free the real, hashtag stop the corrupt, donate $5 or $1 to my fundraiser. You can hit my Cash App, $Labar Spann, or you can hit my GoFundMe at Labar Spann Attorney's Fees. If you like the message, feel the message, or know people like me stuck in a judicial nightmare by a corrupt, rigged system, whom at heart are against us, hate us, still bloodthirsty to hang us high, support and protest. Be a part of the movement. Let your voice ring high. Complicity is all the respect. All support is totally aimed and geared in an economic fortitude to afford a defense team that can push through corruption, hold officials and prosecution accountable, break and eradicate the constraints of qualified immunity. Judicially, we're as a community walking a line of eggshells, weaponized against us as a human body, a future aimed and promised to slap handcuffs on your growing children. 2023 and beyond is not our future. Daily, your liberties are being whitewashed. Just look at their vehicles. Patrol cars and revolvers are long gone. We as a community that cares put a wedge in their murderous killings of citizens in 2020. Slowly, they've risen again and placed their corrupt ball in the courtroom. Judicialization has unorthodoxly reinvigorated sentencing schemes after 2020 and getting unconstitutionally even like no other. Please feel free to share my message. The more who understand, the better we are. Sincerely, Labar Spann.